Alrighty, how's everybody doing today? Let's get going here. Let's do another parable today. How's that? This one's called The Tale of Two Wolves. It says, an old Cherokee told his grandson, "My son, there is a battle between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, and truth." The boy thought about it and asked, "Grandfather, which wolf wins?" The old man quietly replied, "The one you feed." There you go, boys. Let's get into it today. Welcome everybody to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner, yours truly. My online persona is Blind Run, and that's where you can find me playing video games on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. In real life, I go by Matthew, so if you bump into me, you know. Let's go ahead and get into the topics. These topics today are going to be Intel Arc Alchemist desktop GPUs are delayed. We have the launch of the 5800 X3D, now taking the top tier for best gaming CPU. However, it's not overclockable, unfortunately. AMD's new RDNA 2 refresh is shaping up to be a replacement instead of just a refresh. And we'll get into that. Binance.us is licensed now in Puerto Rico. Good news there. And Bitcoin's 30-day volatility slips to a 17-month low. This could be positive or negative depending on the perception you have of it. So today, let's get into it right after a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is myself. To support the channel, click the join button below the video and you will get access to our privately hosted Rocket Chat. Selecting the $1.99 option will get you access, and after that, you need to head over to the membership tab, scroll down, and expand out your membership perks. Find the section for connecting on social media, and in that section there will be a secret registration URL to join Rocket Chat, where you can sign up to enjoy talking with other cryptocurrency enthusiasts and miners without spammers, scammers, or bots. Boom! All right, so first things first, unfortunately it looks like the Intel Arc GPUs are going to be delayed. Let's get into it. This is coming from Tweaktown. And here's the details. Intel has reportedly delayed its Arc Alchemist desktop GPUs, with new rumors suggesting a new late Q2 or early Q3 release. Intel has reportedly delayed the launch of its new Arc Alchemist desktop GPUs, according to the latest rumors, and it truly doesn't surprise anyone, is what he says at this point. It's a mess. According to the enthusiastic citizen, Intel has delayed its new Arc Alchemist desktop GPUs from late Q2, which would have been end of June, through to early Q3, July to September. Intel has only confirmed its Arc Alchemist limited edition GPU so far, with the mobile Arc Alchemist GPU launch a total mess so far as well. Intel effed the mobile Arc GPU launch up so much that it's now irrelevant, but we and many other sites and enthusiasts won't forget that. And now the desktop Arc Alchemist launch seems to be running full speed into the same fate. Intel could have been more upfront about this, but they haven't, so it's just an egg on their face at this point. The Intel i740 AGP launch was better than this. Wow, this guy is just opinionated without giving us the facts. Where are the facts? I guess just that it's delayed. Where's the sources? All right, the leaker actually mentioned another SKU of Intel Arc desktop GPU range, the Arc A750. We've heard about the Intel Arc A770, A750, A580, and A380 GPUs teased at this point. We should expect the Intel Arc A750 to have 448xe vector engines. So I kind of wish I would have vetted this out more, because we don't have a link to the actual source from Enthusiastic Citizen. I'll try to dig that up a little bit later, and I'm not too impressed with the journalistic integrity of this particular article, but suffice to say, what we're looking at is another delay for Intel Arc GPUs, the desktop graphics card side. That's a disappointment. I was really looking forward to those coming out end of June, but we do have other releases to look forward to, such as, of course, today, the 5800X3D. I will be making a trip to Houston right after this show to pick one up and get it back here and get it tested in the mining algorithms for you guys. Right now, they say AMD has finally launched its fastest gaming processor and the first CPU to utilize the 3D V-Cache technology. The AMD 7 5800X3D is a chip that has been designed solely for high-end gamers. It's a costly chip that retails for $449 US, but at the same time, it offers performance that exceeds the Intel's flagship $600 US, the i9 12900K. It's important to note that if you take a look at current reviews from most outlets, the 12900KS that launched just a little bit ago is actually faster still in this particular case than the 5800X3D in gaming, and the 12900K is still significantly faster than the 5800, even with the X3D in productivity, things that I do on a daily basis, for example. So I'll be keeping my 12900K in here. I did want to get a 12900KS, but I have a feeling the 5800X3D is going to be the most interesting one to test for mining algorithms. That's why we decided to pick that up this month instead of the 12900KS for my personal rig. If you're a gamer who is looking to upgrade your aging AM4 platform with something new, the Ryzen 7 5800X3D offers a big performance uplift over old Zen, Zen 2, and even existing Zen 3 CPUs. In terms of specifications, what we got is 8 cores and 16 threads with a single CCD. It rocks a base clock of 3.4 gigahertz and a boost clock of 4.5 gigahertz, which is lower than the 4.7 gigahertz of the non-3D Ryzen 7 5800X, which we should also mention the 5800X will overclock, making it a little bit better potentially in some productivity situations, whereas there is no overclock for the 5800X3D. I want to make that clear. The CPU features a TDP of 105 watts, which is the same as the Ryzen 7 5800X. The CPU doesn't offer any overclocking support, which is because the voltage of the cache stack cannot exceed 1.35 volts. The main difference between the two chips is the amount of cache. The X3D will carry 32 megabytes of L3 cache on die and 64 megabytes of cache off die within the vertical stacks. The CPU will feature a single 3D V-cache stack and incorporate 64 megabytes of L3 cache, and it sits on top of the TSVs already featured on existing Zen 3 CCDs. This will give a total of 96 megabytes of L3 cache directly to the Zen 3 cores, which is significant. AMD has thinned out the Zen 3 CCD and V-cache so they have the same Z height as the current Zen 3 processors, rather than varying heights between the cores and the IOD. Since the V-cache sits on top of the CCD L3 cache, wow, tongue twister, it doesn't affect the heat output of the core and has minimal power upticks. It is also explained by AMD that while frequency is important, most games are very latency sensitive, so adding more cache was the most practical choice. Also, the benefits of having the extra cache outweighs the frequency degradation. While that trade-off had to be made, the chip still has better performance to offer over the standard 5800X. Now, for testing, I do have a 5900X actually over a 5950X over here. I will be trying to get, probably take the 5950X out to the farm and get the 5800X. In live chat, I'm going to start a poll here because I do want to know, what should we test it against in the initial? I'm only going to have a little bit of time. So what CPU should we test the X3D against? Because I have a question about that, right? So we have the 5800X as an obvious choice, and then we have the 5950X. That would be, and this is specifically, we are not worried about gaming or anything like that. It's specifically for mining algorithms. So I'm going to start that poll there for you guys. Yeah. There you go. Furthermore, the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X3D CPU is compatible with a full range of AMD 400 and 500 series motherboards. Each motherboard maker has shipped out their respective BIOS support for the chip already. With the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X3D, the red team is off to a new start, and the future looks bright for the 3D V-Cache technology. I am super excited about this technology. From my perspective, though, should you go out and purchase this CPU right now? Well, let's see what it does on mining, first of all. Second of all, what we're going to see is probably significant increases in performance and probably some overclocking capabilities in the next generation, maybe the 5000 series if they implement it over there, that sort of thing. So this is kind of like the early adopters version of 3D V-Cache. So if you're an enthusiast interested in playing with it, it makes sense. Purely just to go out and buy it as an upgrade path, maybe not. Maybe you want to wait for DDR5 support. Maybe you want to wait for other support along those lines, a new chipset, something like that. If that's the case, then I would hold off, especially if you're already on a 5000 series CPU from AMD right now. But, you know, that's up to you. We'll get the testing out for you guys here soon. Let's talk about AMD's new RDNA 2 refresh, which may be fully replacing the 6000 series. So AMD's new Radeon RX 6950 XT and the 6750 XT and 6650 XT, which yesterday we did our hash rate predictions for the 6650 XT, which should be around 35 megahash a second, is supposed to replace the 6900, the 6700, and the 6600 respectively. So AMD delayed the launch of its RDNA 2 refresh GPUs from, well, right now until May 10th. But now it seems that the RDNA 2 refresh GPUs are not a refresh, but a replacement of the current RX 6000 series GPUs. So in a tweet from Hassan, it says, it seems like AIBs will stop making the 6600, the 6700, and the 6900 XT cards and focus on the new 6650, 6750, and 6950 XT series instead. So RDNA 2 refresh is looking more like a replacement rather than a higher end alternative to the existing models. And this would make a lot of sense because we know that AMD and Radeon have had a significant issue with supply shortages as of late. And to add on a whole nother manufacturing stack to it and supply all the lines, including the 6600 XTs and all that, right? It would make sense that they would say, okay, well, we're going to push off on not manufacturing those anymore. What we're really seeing in this upgrade is going to be that faster memory speed. It makes sense to me. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below or in live chat. Next, we have Binance.us is receiving money transmitter license in Puerto Rico. This is big news because if you guys aren't aware, Binance.us is not available everywhere in the United States. In fact, I'm in a state, Texas, where it's still not allowed. And I'm kind of hoping that eventually they get here because there are things that are available on Binance.us that aren't in other areas. However, Binance.us is still very limited compared to Binance.com. And so there are definitely a ton of smaller mineable coins that really aren't easy to liquidate in the US at all, right? You have to go through some sort of like VPN in some cases is what people do. And I'm not condoning that. I'm just telling you guys what they do. Or, you know, you have some sketchy low cap exchange that you're trying to sell coins on. It can make it very difficult. But Brian Schroeder, Chief Executive Officer of Binance.us, said, following the successful close of our second round, we are thrilled to build on our momentum with the receipt of this license and are grateful for the trust of the Puerto Rico Office of the Commissioner of Financial Institutions. As America's home to buy, trade, and earn digital assets, our goal is to offer the most compliant and customer-centric exchange in all 50 states and territories. Puerto Rico, in particular, is an important market for the growth of crypto, and we look forward to continuing to offer its residents secure, reliable, and low-fee access to a robust selection of tokens. The receipt of Binance.US's money transmitter license in Puerto Rico comes on the heels of the company's first external funding round, in which it raised over $200 million from a diverse group of investors at a pre-money valuation of $4.5 billion. Binance.US plans to use the proceeds from the funding round to enhance its spot trading platform, develop a suite of new products and services to be introduced into the near term, and invest in marketing and consumer education initiatives. Puerto Rico is the fourth jurisdiction in which Binance.US has received a money transmitter license in 2022, following West Virginia, Connecticut, and Wyoming. Through its licenses and those of its partners, Binance.US currently operates in 45 states and 7 territories, offering some of the industry's lowest fees on a 90+ high-quality token listing. You can obviously visit at Binance.US or download the app on iOS or Android. Suffice to say, this is the direction that we need as far as like availability for people within cryptocurrency to liquidate their assets, especially as miners, things we are looking at for sure. And it can be very, very difficult, I think, when we are looking at the merge for Ethereum to determine coins as well. Like, this is the part that I think like a lot of miners miss, and even mining YouTubers miss. Like, we will get out there and be like, yo, this coin looks profitable or whatever. But when you really dig deep into it, you're looking at not a lot of liquidity in exchanges for getting, selling the mined coin. It's hard to generate the revenue off of it. And that's why I think if you look at some of the OGs within crypto, you talk to larger GPU mining firms in particular, there is this kind of push or need for something like Ethereum Classic over some of the smaller coins, because Ethereum Classic is already on major exchanges such as Coinbase and Crypto.com. And I think that it's a piece that gets missed by a lot of people. You get these videos that are like, oh, this is the most profitable CPU mineable coin out. And then you really get in there and there's really only $3,000 of liquidity in some exchange. And you go to list your coin over there and it never sells, right? So it looks like it, but it's not actually the case. It's just pulling an API data from an exchange that has low liquidity. And then if you get into it even further than that, then you end up having to sell lower and lower and lower as more people start mining that coin because, well, people are starting to try to get rid of and liquidate their mining or mined coin. So it's going to be a problem that we run into. And I think that it's important to realize that and be realistic about it when we talk about what the move post-merge is going to be. Let's talk about Bitcoin's 30-day volatility. We're definitely not over 42,000 anymore, as it says in the title, but it did break it at one point today. That was cool, at least for 420, for you fans of the 420-ness. But Bitcoin's 30-day volatility slips to a 17-month low. Market makers from DeFi option vaults are perhaps the invisible force helping create a boundary for prices. There is a clam in the Bitcoin market, the likes of which we last saw before the beginning of the late 2020 bull run. The leading cryptocurrency's 30-day volatility, which measures the standard deviation of daily returns over 4 weeks, has declined to 2.2%, the lowest since November 5th, 2020, according to data provided by Arcane Research. The gauge peaked above 6% in June 2021 and has been declining on a declining trend ever since, barring the temporary spike to 4.5% around the March Federal Reserve meeting. The steady decline could be attributed to several factors, including dominant crypto exchanges, Binance and FTX's decision to cut down leverage, declining interest in crypto margined futures, and more recently, reduced speculative interest as evidenced by the decline in trading volumes. Data tracked by Geico Research shows that Bitcoin and Ether's weekly trading volumes have slipped to the lowest levels since the summer of 2021. Quote, both Bitcoin and Ethereum trade volumes have declined significantly since December as investors de-risk their portfolios amid growing macro uncertainty, Kaiko Research's weekly newsletter published on Monday said. Quote, the trend accelerated in early April with Bitcoin and Ethereum weekly trade volume down by over 30% to 7 billion and 5 billion respectively, relative to the end of March. While Bitcoin is down 10% on a year-to-date basis, Ethereum has lost about 15% per charting platform TradingView. There are technical factors at play too, helping bring tranquility to the Bitcoin market. Market makers who buy the out of the money call and put options auctioned by decentralized options vaults, DOVs, every Friday, hedge their bullish bearish exposure through opposite positions in the futures and perpetual futures market. According to Prime, a digital asset fund manager, in the process, these market makers create a boundary for prices within each expiration cycle. Market makers are individuals or entities with a contractual obligation to maintain a healthy level of liquidity on an exchange. They make sure there is enough depth in the order book by offering to buy or sell an asset, futures contract, or a call or put option at any given point in time. These entities always take the opposite side of investors' trades and maintain a market neutral book by buying and selling the underlying asset as the price swings. The DOVs have grown exponentially since the second half of 2021 and now add over 100 million US dollars of notional exposure to the market each week. In other words, the sensitivity of market makers' books to directional moves is increasing. As such, their hedging activities could be helping arrest wild price swings in the market. Basically, we're seeing less volatility in cryptocurrency is what they're saying. But, quote, holding larger open interest requires larger hedging activity. This acts as a natural price floor or ceiling for spot prices at short strikes. 2Prime said in a DOV explainer note published on April 8th, quote, by holding these options to expiration as DOVs do, the gamma of the underlying option increases, thus requiring more delta hedging from market makers, further intensifying this price floor and ceiling dynamic, end quote. Is this the calm before the storm? A prolonged period of low price turbulence often ends with a violent price action on either side. For instance, the previous low volatility regime lasted for over 2 months, from late September to early November, with the cryptocurrency trading mainly in the range of 10,000 to 13,000. The breakout happened on November 5th, with prices rallying well above the June 2019 high of 13,800. Whether history will repeat itself is anybody's guess. That said, there are signs of a big move could happen soon. Quote, the 7-day volatility has climbed above the 30-day volatility, which would suggest that the market is waking up, end quote, Arcane Research's weekly newsletter published on Tuesday. Bitcoin was the last seen at trading at $41,500, representing a 2% gain on a 24-hour basis, according to CoinDesk data. So, what do we need to know as miners, as this all comes into play, etc.? I'll bring you back to the whole Bitcoin supercycle problem, where we talk about Bitcoin's natural halving every 4 years, and typically that precedes some sort of big increase of price of Bitcoin in the rest of the cryptocurrency market, where then it continues to go up for a while, and then after a couple years it takes a big dive and then remains steady until the next halving. Have we broken out of that? It's certainly starting to feel like it when we're talking about this lower price volatility. Does that mean that we are actually going to be going up though? Or is this a signal of us just getting ready to follow that traditional supercycle and crash out? I don't know the answer to that. I don't do a lot of technical analysis. Obviously, we cover a little bit of it here just to keep you in the know of what other people are saying. But I think that overall, this is a good signal for cryptocurrency and the future of it, Because if we start getting into a less volatile market, yes, the upside's not as high, but the downside's not as low. And that means for miners, for infrastructure providers, it becomes a lot more stable. You can start planning out your moves ahead of time a lot easier. So I would almost prefer that we have this kind of low volatility setup and that we kind of continue to break out of the traditional super cycle and remain within this range, maybe even to the next halving. And then while the profitability may be low, which we're going to talk about here because we have low profits right now, low revenue in general for mining, we still can figure out how to remain within profitability and survive this bear market as opposed to a huge crash. Now, what they're saying is that this is a signal of some large price action incoming. Hopefully that large price action incoming is not indicative of a traditional super cycle where we crash out for the next couple years until we hit the next halving, and it is a big increase. Who's to say, but these are the things that we take a look at. The other option is that they are completely wrong. There will be no price action, and we will continue to move sideways within the cryptocurrency market for a bit longer. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, and of course, within live chat. Let's go ahead and get into mining profitability for the day. We had a cool day, but still not great hash rate. We're at 5.28 gigahash a second on the average hash rate. Current is 5.43 gigahash. It's the morning. It's been cool outside. For the last 24 hours, we earned $210 US, which is equivalent to 0.067 Ethereum. And for the projected, we are looking at $211 for the day at 0.068 Ethereum. Now, this will adjust out as it gets warmer throughout the day and we'll have a lower hash rate. For the farm in particular, I finally have all of my fans in, and from GPUFanReplacement.com, it took a while to get them, but we have fans for all the cards that have dead fans. So I have a lot of work ahead of me to get that done. Today, obviously, we aren't going to be out there working on it because we are going to be working on a review for you guys on the 5800X3D. Should you be picking it up for mining or not? Hopefully I'll have an answer for you guys this evening. Taking a look at Luckpool, Real Regrowth, thank you for the donation. Still continuing to donate. Tons of shares coming from him. He's down to 12.84 mega hash a second. So I don't know what CPUs you're using. Let me know, in the comments later. I'd like to know. But overall, let's take a look at our earnings. We've been traditionally around 2 Varus coin a day. We're down to 1.3 Varus coin a day. Is that because of difficulty, etc.? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to check it out. But that's kind of where we're at as far as the Varus coin goes. Let's take a look at mining profitability on the 3090. Let's go ahead and correct the Zel hash rate for the 3090. Make sure that you utilize Mini-Z when using NVIDIA GPUs to mine Flux. And at a 10 cents a kilowatt hour cost, we are at $3.93 a day after power on Ethereum. Once again, we have nice hash on Zel hash at $2.85 a day after power. We talked about this yesterday, but let's go ahead and clarify so everybody is in the know. The reason why people are mining on nice hash is because they are basically traders trying to purchase Flux at a cheaper price. What we looked at yesterday, for example, showed that if we were going to go purchase Flux directly, that it would be between $1.40 to $1.55 per Flux, depending on where you purchased it from and how many you needed to purchase before it knocked you into the higher bracket. Whereas if you're mining on NiceHash right now, you're going to spend about $1.33. This was as of yesterday. It could have changed today, but that's kind of the concept that you got here. The people that are utilizing NiceHash to mine Zel hash, to mine Flux, are specifically seeing that they can rent hash rate for cheaper than they can go and purchase Flux from a particular exchange. That's why this is happening, okay? Conflux is really sitting high still. I have talked to quite a few people that are saying that Conflux on the NVIDIA GPUs as well is not getting reported quite right in what to mine and is more profitable right now even than Ethereum. I haven't confirmed that myself. Also, be very careful because big swings in difficulty will hit profitability, so keep that in mind. But Conflux is profitable. Flux, if you mine directly, $2.48 a day after power. Rio, $2.53 a day after power. Cero, $2.34 a day after power. Ethereum Classic, $2.30 a day after power. If we scroll down, we got Ergo at $2.36 a day after power, and Ravencoin at $2.07 a day after power. Mining pool, mining pool statistics. We still have around 230 exahash a second on Bitcoin. It continues to rise regardless of the price. We had a big rise currently. And we are still right at one petahash a second for Ethereum. So no steep increases in Ethereum hash rate due to the announcement of the delay, even though some people were expecting that. That doesn't seem to be the case. And it doesn't seem to be reflecting within GPU pricing or availability either. Actually, quite the opposite. If we take a look at Ethereum Classic, it's up to 29.5 terahash a second from 28 terahash a second yesterday. Pretty steady difficulty as well, and pretty steady profits overall on Ethereum Classic. Let's take a look at Flux. Flux is right at that 2 mega solutions a second, with those random spikes obviously coming from NiceHash at this time. Let's take a look at Ergo. Bam. And we are at 15.74 terahash a second. The difficulty did have its dip, and you can see it's starting to rise again today. And we'll probably see just this continued pattern of spike to lull to spike to lull to spike to lull to spike to lull. We've talked about that extensively in the past, so check out a previous live stream if you're curious about it. Ravencoin. See if there's any big changes. Not really. 3.28 terahash a second. Remaining pretty steady now on their difficulty. So that's where we're at. Mining pool profitability for the past 90 days. Flex pool in first, mining pool hub in second, crazy pool in third. For the last 60 days, mining pool hub in first, F2 pool in second, flex pool in third. For the last 30 days, flex pool in first, F2 pool in second, hive on in third. For the last 21 days, crazy pool in first, F2 pool in second, flex pool in third. For the last 14 days, crazy pool in first, F2 pool in second, mining pool hub in third. For the last 7 days, crazy pool in first, F2 pool in second, hive on in third. For the last 3 days, crazy pool in first, F2 pool in second, ether mine in third. And for the last day, F2 pool in first, ether mine in second, hive on pool in third. ASIC profitability. Let's take a look. We have the Jasminer X4 still over $100 a day. KD6, no change from yesterday at 92.44. Same with the KD5, no change at 62.18. Really no change in the L7, still sitting around that $40 mark. And if we scroll down to the S19 Pro, really no change, a little bit up, maybe about $1 up at $16 a day. So not fantastic there, but we do have the miners that are on sale. No changes at BT Miners, but if you're interested in picking up one, use the affiliate link down in the description to help me out. Yeah, no real changes in pricing over here either, is there? Nope, not at all. By popularity, it seems a lot of people are looking at the Canaan Bitcoin miner, and that is the 85 terahash a second model. And then from there, it looks like the coin miner is relisted. Now, to address the coin miner, latest news is they replaced the power supply and it did not fix it. I'm going to get more information from you guys as far as to what is wrong with it. But at this point, the power supply was bad. It took a while to get shipping for the power supply from China because they shut it down due to the medical issues that China was going through, I suppose. And then it did get in. They replaced it. They replaced the power supply, and that did not fix the issue. So there's a different issue going on with the coin miner. They told me that they'll send me a video of what's going on. They'll give me more information. We will have an updated review and let you guys know what happens when it happens. But at this point, I really don't know exactly what's going on. Also, I got my BBT coffee cup here. I shouldn't have drank coffee, though, because I'm pouring sweat because it's hot hot heat in here, thanks to that 6900 XT cranking away at stock settings on Ethereum for the live show. But that's kind of where I'm at as far as all of it goes. It looks like in the poll, you guys would actually like me to test the mining capability of the 5800X3D against the 5950X with a vote of 64%, as opposed to testing it against the 5800X. This is super interesting because from a testing methodology, I would assume that you would want to test the same amount of cores and all the same settings and just try to figure out how much of an impact X3D Vcash has. But since this is the testing that you guys want, this is the testing that we will go to, especially because it does actually kind of make it easier on me because I don't have to go to the farm and swap out a 5950X for my 5800X and bring it over here. We can just test it out. Algorithms that we'll be testing out. Obviously, we're going to test out Monero, Raptorium, Veriscoin. Those are the three major ones that I can think of. Let me know in the comment section below or in live chat if there are other ones that you guys want me to take a look at, and we'll go from there. Make sure you guys hit the like button and share the stream out if you find it helpful. Today, we're going to have a little bit of an extended Q&A because the news was a little bit short. Yes, it was. I didn't have quite the research that I normally have, or research time, so I do apologize for that. There were no new miners, though. It's kind of a lackluster day. It's a Wednesday. I think all those journalists are toking it up on the 420 maybe. Maybe they slept in a little bit. Maybe they, who knows? Who knows what's going on? But it is what it is. We will be testing the 5950X against that, though. Remember, super chats are never required, always appreciated, and support the channel significantly. If you want to help fund my trip to Micro Center, you can just send me some Bitcoin to the address that is linked to my mining pool, because that is a Bitcoin address. And then, I can have funded time at, that's just a joke. Don't worry about it. But if you do want to donate Bitcoin, you can do that as well. Yeah, and then tag @SonOfATech for questions. I am sweating. DJ Minds in the chat. Make sure, DJ Minds, that you put your YouTube link down in the chat so people can go sub to your channel. John English says $4.20. Praise it, @SonOfATech. You're supposed to super chat that, bro. Real Regos. Hey man, good to see you. It says @SonOfATech, I have at least one Ryzen 3600 on your address, but seems like I just shortened it while tinkering around. I hope the CPU is still alive. Looks like it will be off for a while. Ah, interesting. Okay. Let me know what happened. I know that I have one, I think it's a 5600X that's offline. I got to go put a different cooler on it. I probably will be picking up another cooler today. Probably another Noctua NHD 15 or something along those lines. Kappa C says, @SonOfATech, where are you getting your replacement GPU fans from? I'm at a place where the task will be coming up soon for me. Yeah, so I do not have an affiliate link with these guys. I was trying to set one up, but it is what it is. Their shipping is slow as dirt, so be prepared for that. But GPUFanReplacement.com is kind of the only place I've found other than Amazon. I would prefer Amazon, but you can't order as many as you can order from GPUFanReplacement.com. So there's that. Elliot Hanford said, @SonOfATech, putting in a new 200 amp service. My current 60 amp service is taxed. Well, congrats on upgrading to 200 amps. And welcome. That should get you over the 5 gigahash club. Dennis Matovich says, @SonOfATech, any good news on X11? The algorithm, or what are we talking about? The miner. I don't know what you're referencing. Detroit Irish says, that's not a tech. Missed if you answered last night. I have a rig I shut down during business hours. Is it better to keep it on NiceHash if profits are similar, or move it to Hive and take the hit on pool hopping? That's going to be up to you. You know, if you're shutting it down, turning it back on all the time, there is a current. Now, I haven't done the full research on this. I want to be extremely clear. But there is something promising that may solve that for you too, called Guap Swap. Well, no, that wouldn't do it. Never mind. I take that back. I was thinking of something different. Guap Swap's just going to automatically swap your Ergo for tokens, I believe. Yeah, if you're shutting down every day for business hours and you don't want to get hit for pool hopping, if you do decide to mine, make sure it's an 8-hour period if you're mining directly. If not, you could go to NiceHash. I'm just not a big fan of NiceHash and the way it impacts smaller coins, especially things like Flux. But I understand why you may want to do that. Kappa C, welcome to the Suns and Rocket Chat, and thanks for joining. Real Rigo says, at Simon Tech, I've got all my flight sheets duplicated with your Veriscoin address on, hoping to give a little back for your time and content and keep your farm alive. Thank you, good sir. Wes says, at Son of a Tech, where do you buy your power cables for PDU to PSU? PDU to PSU. I go to a local store usually, or on Amazon, but there's a local store here called Alltex. They're kind of all over Texas, and they have PDUs and just cables that you can purchase. Another cheap, good option would be Monoprice as well, which is where I get my cables from, my Ethernet cables from as well. Custom Computing says, that's Son of a Tech, there are a ton of 3080 Ti's available for 1250 CAD. Are you buying more GPUs or waiting till April 29th for the official announcement? Well, okay. So first of all, the decision by Ethereum devs has no impact on me expanding my farm. The only thing that has an impact on me expanding my farm is the amount of profits I have and the timing on increase of power availability and ventilation. So, are we buying more GPUs? Here and there. I mean, like I got a 1660 Super for like $250 last week, so obviously I'm going to pick that up. Today, there were some options to buy 2080 Ti's for like $750. I would have probably thought about purchasing it, but I'm going to be getting the 5800 X3D instead. So I didn't want to purchase that. And, you know, with revenue being down, with the costs of like running everything and everything that's going on, I am not like buying a ton of equipment just because I can't afford it. And that's pretty much the only reason why. Talon79 says, as Simon Tech, I'm seeing RX 574 gigabytes on eBay for around $150. Is that a decent price for an Ethereum Classic rig? No, I think that you will see 574 gigabytes go down to $75 a piece here in the next couple months. Personally. CT12L says, having kept up with Ergo hash rates, is there a table of Ergo hash rates after the DAG increase? No, I haven't kept up with that either. I think we have to do some more testing, don't we, on Ergo? Pohik Mining says, at Son of a Tech, just got the denial notification from our power company for a 400 amp commercial service on our property due to zoning. I'm on the hunt now for off-site property. Bummer to hear. Hope you can get it figured out, my man. Rookie Cookie says, at Son of a Tech, Papa. No, come on, dude. No Excuse says, at Son of a Tech, power cost isn't an issue for me. So which is more profitable, getting higher ETH hash rates with new miners or continue dual mining with TON? Getting higher ETH hash rates with new miners. I don't think dual mining with TON has been necessarily significantly profitable At least I'm having a lot of issues with heat as well. So I'm only doing Ethereum. That's what I'm doing though, right? Nathaniel Schroeder says, Ask Tech 30 Series Founders Edition replacement fan sourcing. That one I don't have an answer for. I do not know. Flavortown resident says, Ask Tech, I've been mining with my 6800 XT for a year and the temps are still the same. Should I consider eventually changing the thermal pads or is it okay on AMD GPUs? It's okay on any GPUs if you're not experiencing any temp increase or thermal throttling to not replace the thermal pads and thermal paste. Once you start experiencing some thermal throttling or you notice the temperatures are getting higher, then at that point you may want to consider refreshing it. Other than that, leave it together. Don't worry about it. And that is the same with NVIDIA and of course AMD. It is not in particular one or the other, right? Impala says, Ask Tech, I need to get more power supplies. Should I shoot for server PSU or ATX home miner? So as a home miner, the ATX might be a little bit easier because you can get it to it's easier to mount within most of the frames that are available to you. So there is that as an argument. If you do have 200 to 240 volt service, you may want to consider going with a server PSU. Those, like my favorite was like that 2400 watt one from Parallel Miner because you can just power a ton of GPUs with it. Real Rigo says, Ask Tech how I broke my 3600. I only wanted to replace a fan hub. Thought I could do it while it was running. Got a steady hand, but it was clumsy, not steady enough. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Always turn everything off before you work on them, guys. Infamous Goblin Losers, thank you for the $5 super chat. It was supposed to be $4.20, bro. I don't know how you're messing this up, bro. Nathaniel Schroeder, thanks for the $5 super chat. How are you messing this up, bro? Again, where can we buy 30 Series Founders Edition fans? I just told you I do not know the answer to that question. I did answer it as well. Thanks for the super chat, but I do not know where you would purchase those right now or even if you ever could. At that point, I think that you're looking at just purchasing a third-party cooling solution, unfortunately. I haven't had a Founders Edition fan 30 series die on me either. So I haven't looked really closely. Kappa C says, Ask Tech, figured it was about time as I'm pretty sure my mines should have your name stamped on them somewhere as your videos were a major learning tool for me when I started. On which one, Kappa C? Sorry, I'm not tracking. Jorge says, late to the show, but thumbs up. As Son of a Take, Wall Street is destroying the stock market today with Netflix down around 35%. Go crypto. Well, I'll give you my crazy eyes today. I got a lot of crazy eye going on. This light's bright. Good. Look, I canceled my Netflix subscription. There's a lot of reasons to cancel your Netflix subscription. It's just a waste of time and a waste of money, and they upped the price on us. Dang it. The only person keeping them alive is what's the Deadpool actor's name? All his movies feel like they're the only thing keeping Netflix alive, in my opinion. We got another $4.20 super chat from Minor Illusion. Finally, it only took 3 super chats to get $4.20, but we did it. Now, the next step is $420 super chat. I'm just putting it out there into the universe. It's fine. I'm just kidding. I guess we could start. No, we go to $42 next. Excuse me. $4.20 would be once we're on step 3, right? Let's see. John English says, that something turns out one of my 1200 watt ZSX combo PSUs burned up. Parallel Miner honored the replacement outside of the 30-day. They're supposed to report their findings to me when they know more. Interesting. Henry J. New York says, at Son of a Tech, is there a difference when solo mining Ethereum Classic on high diff? Can you explain the difference to me? If you're going to do high diff, you need to have a significant amount of hash rate. I would only use it if I was renting hash from essentially nice hash at that point. LZ22 says, at Son of a Tech, I'm currently running 25 GPUs on 5 rigs. Could I save energy if I were to reduce it from 24 GPU to 24 GPUs on 4 rigs? You're a home miner. Thanks. Yes, so anytime you reduce the amount of components per rig, you reduce your power consumption. Now, it might not be that much, right? But it could still be significant the further and further you expand. So if you go down from 5 rigs to 4 rigs, what are you getting rid of, right? You're getting rid of a CPU, you're getting rid of a motherboard, and you're getting rid of the memory. What does that usually calculate out to? That usually calculates out to 130 to 160 watts, somewhere within there. So you will reduce your power costs, but not by that much, right? When going down to 1. But learning to consolidate those in the future, you know, maybe you take 10 rigs down to 8 rigs. And so on. Gandalf Gray says, Ask Tech, can you benchmark the AMD CPU against an i9 or i7? It would be a moot point because, like, you can go check out the 12900K that we've already benchmarked on algorithms, mining algorithms. Outside of Veriscoin, there are no benefits to the Intel CPUs. They lose by a large margin. And that is because of their low cache. SN says, Ask Tech, how long a GPU lasts if you're constantly mining? How well are you taking care of it would be more of the question. They can last for 5, 6, 7 years. They can last for a long, long time, right? The thing about it is, you know, once it starts overheating, are you shutting it down, taking it off the rig and waiting till you fix it? Did you let it run with like dried out thermal paste for too long? The longevity of it though is really the maintenance. And then that's really where you're at. Are you getting out there? Like it's going to be, how many fans are you going to replace? Well, fans are probably going to get replaced anywhere from six months to a year. Well, a little bit more than that. Typically like a year to 2 years for fans, depending on how low you can put them and how high of a quality the fans are, depending on which model you purchase for that particular GPU. Thermal paste, 6 months. Thermal paste and thermal pads, 6 months to a year. You're going to have to replace them sometime within there. So those maintenance spots are really what you're looking at. Wes, thank you for the 420 super chat. I missed yours too. Says here, I fixed it. There you go. Thank you. Pohig Mining says, Ask Tech, those 2400 watt Delta parallel had were great, but for the people that don't know, you need to make sure you run your riser and GPU on the same breakout board. You don't have to necessarily. I didn't have to. You just have to power the risers on. Well, no, because if you have it connected properly, one power button on the main board will power on the other board at the same time. You shouldn't have to. We got another 419 from Chadwick's Racing. Thank you, good sir. And Paul Doherty. Paul, thank you for the 419. You messed it up. ETH2 when, he says. Meeman. No such thing as ETH2. God dang it, Bitsby tripping. You killing me, man. He comes out yesterday. What's going to happen with ETH2? And I know that video is for like the staking or the pool stuff. That's cool. But let's be clear. It has already been determined by the ETH development team that there is no such thing as ETH2. It is just known as the consensus layer. The reason they made this distinction is because the execution layer will not be scaled via sharding. And so essentially you are only going to have your consensus layer, which is just separate from the execution layer. Execution layer is going to remain just on the ETH1 chain. They have some scalability plans for it, but not what it was supposed to be. And that's why they rebranded it. And it is no longer, ETH2 is not a thing. ETH2 does not exist anymore. Mike Wright says, Ask Tech got a 3060 this morning for $370. Congratulations. I believe there are 2060s on EVGA right now for $330, by the way. Mike Wright says, ask Simon Tech, Netflix go woke, go broke. Look up series come out from them he's expecting. Yeah, so, you know, it is what it is. That's not the reason I canceled my Netflix subscription in general. But, you know, it's pretty ridiculous too. So I didn't even know that was actually happening until I think yesterday. And I thought it was a meme, but apparently it's not. Daniel Ring says, ask Simon Tech, as an ASIC miner, I'm trying to spin up a few GPUs. These prices are exciting, but still can't quite pull the trigger on purchases yet. Yeah, it feels like you want to wait a month, but you never know. Chadwick's Racing says, at Son of a Tech for your trip to Micro Center today. Thank you, good sir. I will go ahead and purchase myself probably some sort of energy drink on the way that will cost me $4.20 for sure. Gandalf Gray says, at Simon Tech, thanks for the clarity and everything you do. Thanks for watching. Without you all, I couldn't do this. Loba Nova says, at Simon Tech, what is your go-to mining motherboard that's available today? Well, that's interesting because they probably don't sell those anymore. Yeah, the ASRock H110s are not really viable at $650 now, are they? I don't know, man. I don't know what it would be. I guess I need to think about it. So everything's moving over to the BioStar, I guess, is really the only one that's priced well. I do have one of these. It is running and it hasn't died, but I haven't had it running as long as my other ones. And that's the TB360. And I believe, unfortunately, the i3-9100 is still the cheapest CPU. I thought they were cheaper ones. Can't remember which one. I'll have to go look. I think there are some cheaper ones. Nathaniel Schroeder says, ask Simon Tech, copper modding GPU video, please. I don't think that I want to put copper mod on my GPUs. I'm going to be honest. Detroit Iris says, ask Son of a Tech, there's your next clickbait stream title. ETH2 has been canceled. I already made a video on it when they first canceled it. I can't cancel it any further because I already canceled it. Brandon Demink says, at Son of a Tech, thanks for the $5 super chat, by the way, says, do you think Raptorium will survive the bear market? It's hard to tell, man, because, like, I don't think that it's really easy. It all depends on why the devs are doing it. So if the devs are doing it because they're participating in a crypto bull run, which is what happens a lot with a lot of these smaller coins, they kind of get their money, it crashes, they lose interest, they start doing something different, and they do not, they don't do it. They don't continue through the bear market. It's a lot less about the coin itself or the validity of the coin itself, and a lot more about the desire of the devs or people that are passionate about the project to continue working on it. Chadwick Racing says, ask Simon Tech, save your receipts and write it off. I'm going to write that Red Bull right off, baby. Fernando says, ask Simon Tech, are you still buying GPUs? Yes, here and there. Real Rigo says, ask Simon Tech, for the H110 BTC Pro, I read somewhere that you need a 1,000 watt power supply to power it. Is that true, or can you run it on normal PSU? Definitely don't need a 1,000 watt power supply or more to power it. That being said, like, I think maybe they have confusion over the amount of GPUs that are going onto the system. I mean, it can run up to 13 GPUs. I have 13 3070s on one right now, running fantastic. Wes says, ask Simon Tech, cancel the cancel so you can recancel. Yeah, I'll just have to remake that video because we just have to clickbait you all hardcore. Look. We're only at 293 concurrent viewers. I just put Ethereum in the title and we get 500. What's that about, bro? Huh? Kevin Smith says, at Son of a Tech, did you pick up any Gods Unchained Mortal Judgment? No, I haven't been playing Gods Unchained. I'm obsessed with playing Elden Ring, and then offline I've been playing Gears Tactics. So if I play games, those are what I'm playing. Fernando says, at Son of a Tech, are a Sapphire RX 580 8GB good to buy for 200? I'd assume they come down to 125 to 150 here in the next month or so, but who's to tell? I mean, 30 mega hash a second for 200 sounds great. The thing is you do got a BIOS mod to get those numbers. So if it's not already BIOS modded, you do have to do that, and it can be difficult because there are a lot. Each individual third party board manufacturer for the 580s kind of has their own way you got to mod it, which can be a little frustrating, right? So you need to keep that in mind. It's a lot easier to just throw like a 1660 Super on there and get 30 mega hash a second, right? At the same power and no BIOS mod, which is like just a lot easier. Plus, there's not a lot to mine on the 580s post. The Polaris GPUs, you know, you are going to be looking at Ethereum Classic. And they're getting outdated. Their resaleability is not going to be very high either. So, Brian Gasper says, at Son of a Tech, sarcasm, he clarifies. The devs don't want people calling it ETH 2.0 because they intend to release a standalone ETH 2 coin once the merge is complete. That's funny. Dan Sand says, at Son of a Tech, since newer cards are needing more power, do you think 2 8-pin cards or less would be priceless in the future? Not necessarily. You know, we are changing. I mean, just like with any technology, we are changing, you know, what's coming out as far as like we have a whole new PCIe Gen 5 power connector, stuff like that. So eventually I think you just have, you know, breakout boards that are, you know, 12 pin to 16 pin or whatever it is, right? Pay Me in Crypto says, at Son of a Tech, did you have to do a BIOS mod to get the 133070s on that motherboard? No, I did not. I just updated Hive OS and the BIOS. That's it. Should you buy, says, at Son of a Tech, will you love CUDA cores count of upcoming gen, both NVIDIA and AMD? More CUDA cores, same hash rate, can be achieved at lower power because less GPU, more frequent core frequency is needed. No, the big change specifically that you need to pay attention to on the RTX 4000 series would be the reduction of the VRMs per amount of memory. So you're going down from 4 to 3 per block, which means you're going to have less power consumption for the memory modules, I think is really where it's going to save a lot of power on the mining side. Dep SN says, at Son of a Tech, which GPU do you recommend buying for mining Raven? I wouldn't mine Raven, just to be honest. Core degradation, I don't know, man. I don't really have a suggestion for Raven coin. I think like if you really want that, you could talk to Bitsby Trippin. He's tested Raven coin a lot more than me. Miner Illusion says, at Son of a Tech, 2 miner stats API down. It wasn't earlier in the show, but maybe it is down now. Hard to tell. Moxie says, at Son of a Tech, do you run all your GPU fans at 100%? And do they still thermal throttle with heat? Yeah, so fan speed's not always going to resolve your thermal throttling. A lot of cards are running at 100%. Some cards don't need it, right? You know, your 580s definitely don't need it. The 5700s don't need it. 3000 series, you know, a lot of them do need it. So it is really just kind of up in the air as far as all that goes. 8-Bit says, at Son of a Tech, what was the 5600 reset problem? I don't know. John English Tech says, I'm getting 35 mega hash a second on the 3060 LHR. How's that sound to you guys? I guess it's okay. I mean, it feels really low still. It just feels really low. And that's not saying that your settings are wrong. It just, I just don't like the 3060 light hash rates, you know, but that's what you should be getting. It is correct, but it's depressing that a 3060 is only getting that, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, boys. So I think we're going to call it today. I'm going to get ready to go drive to Houston and get this 5800X3D and get to testing it. I'm excited for it. It is also just hot as can be in here. And I got to get a couple videos clipped before I head out. So make sure you guys hit the like, comment, subscribe button down below. Share the channel out with your friends and family and people that are interested in cryptocurrency. Crypto Mikkel did say, by the way, before I go, that he gets 38 to 39 mega hash a second with his 3060. There are new unlocks from T-Rex Miner. Check out, and LOL Miner is having an 80% unlock coming out soon here too. So there you go. GR1, I will answer this. Have you checked out the newer Phoenix Miner? We talked about it on the show not too long ago. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.